Hi, it's Mark for Ableton Daily, creating the bouncing ball sound. It cracks me up. Every time I do that, my dog barks downstairs. I just think that's funny. Anyway, this tutorial is pretty straightforward. You'll need the simpler instrument with a kick drum sample, and that's about it. And I'll show you how to do some automation so you can achieve the effect. And you can go back and tweak this to make it sound more realistic, like a real bouncing ball. You can follow this tutorial, or you can go to my website at abletondaily.com and you can download the project files. Okay, I'll go ahead and minimize this right now and just turn this off, and I'll create a new MIDI track, insert new MIDI track, and I'll go ahead and arm the track. And then over on the live devices inside the instruments folder, you will find Simpler right here. I'll go ahead and click and drag Simpler into the audio and MIDI effects Dropbox. And then you'll need a sample. So you can use any sample you want, but I found that kick drums sound the best. So I've already have a kick drum picked out here, and you can use this kick drum sample. I've included it inside the project files, so you can achieve the same sound that I'm getting. I'll go ahead and click on this sample and drag it into Simpler. There we go, and I'll try to trigger the sound. It's really low in volume, so I'll just go ahead and turn up the volume. And I'm going to transpose this a little bit, so I'm going to take this up 12 semitones, which is just about an octave here. There we go. All right, so we're just going to create some simple automation here, and we're going to record ourselves playing a MIDI note. I've created a loop brace going from measure 2 all the way to measure 8, just like that. And this is just so I can stay and focus on a certain range inside live when I'm creating and automating the sound. So create yourself a loop brace that looks something like this. And then what I'm going to do first is record myself holding down the kick drum note. I'm at the note of C, basically holding down that note. And you can create a new MIDI clip and do it that way, but what I'm going to do is just create a punch in and punch out point. And when you've created a loop brace, Live automatically knows where you want to punch in and punch out. So if I have these turned on up here, punch in and then punch out, when Live reaches measure 8, it will stop recording. And I'm going to make sure that the loop is turned off. So I will just make sure to rewind this back to the beginning of the project, and I'll turn on the metronome. And then I'll click on record and press play. Here we go. Okay, I'm just holding down the note. There we go. And I'll go ahead and stop it, and I'll turn off the metronome, and then I'll play this back. Okay, not too much is happening there. The sample only triggers one time. Well, this is because we don't have the loop button turned on. So if I turn on the loop button, and now let's listen. Just loops over and over and over again. The whole trick here is to automate the sample length knob, which is right here. Go ahead and click on this, and when you do, Live will automatically select the automation track for this parameter. So how cool is that? S length, which just means sample length. It's right here. And then so all we have to do, we can come in here and create these little automation handles by double clicking on this red line. And look at that. And I can go up and down, and I can make another one. And you can see is when I'm moving this around, the length parameters start to move as well. Look at that. All you have to do is just copy what I'm going to do here. I'm going to start for the sample length. I'm going to start at the very top, which will mean that that will be the entire length of the sample. And as it starts to come down at a downward slope, you can see that the sample length starts to narrow even more and more and more until it gets to this point, which would be sort of like the ball stops bouncing, basically. But what I've decided to do is to, instead of using just a straight linear slope, I wanted to give this more of a organic type sound to it. So I've created these other handles here, and then I've pulled these down a little bit just to create this downward curve slope, something that looks like this. So it just has more of a natural sound to it. Look at that. Let's go ahead and play this back and see what it sounds like. And if you would like to reverse the effect, you would just do the same for the other side. So I'll make an automation handle here, and I'll move this up. I'll make another one here at measure 7, and then another one at measure 8. And I'll move this one all the way to the top, just like that. Let's go ahead and play it back. And there you go. And so now it looks like it's the same as what we had at the very beginning. Look at that. And that's all you need to do. But you can totally tweak this. You can do different things. You can play with the automation and make it sound really weird. Other things you can adjust would be the fade and the loop length. Okay, let me go ahead and play this back. When I originally created the bouncing ball, it reminded me of a sound that I heard in one of the new Autechre albums. And so this is the sound that I've made here. Now it's modeled very close to the bouncing ball, but I've just changed the sound. The sound is a bloom pop, and then I've adjusted the fade, and also my loop length is quite different than the bouncing ball. And I've also added a reverb onto the track, so it sounds like it does. So that's another sound that you can achieve when you automate the sample length. And for those Autechre fans out there, I'm sure you'll love it. But there you have it, guys. That's how we can create the bouncing ball and some other interesting sound effects in Ableton Live. And thanks for watching. Hey, if you like the videos, please subscribe and send me a comment and I'll get back to you. This is Mark, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.